Before the hilarity ensues, tell me one thing. Have you subscribed? I guess
I think
sorry, after you.
there are people. So obviously, tribalistic. My fan base wants me to fight all the way through. So some people are posting this. Uh, I think that the way that we view, and this might be true of different sides of this argument. I think that the way that we view gathering truth or figuring out what's real or not real, I think that the differences there might extrapolate a lot to our differences in these more abstract, these seventh level removed topics. So I've heard people say in my chat, I don't know, I'm not going to quote your position at you, but I've heard people say in my chat, they're claiming that like you believe that like math is a bad foundation for poker or something, or that you're more of like you think that intuitive playing is more important. What do you mean when you say that? Or do you want to expand on that? I'm curious
Yeah,
because you kind of alluded to it a little
I
bit earlier.
don't think
Yeah.
math is a bad foundation for poker.
Mm-hmm.
Before I was a poker player, I was looking to get into either theoretical physics or banking. I was maths through
Mm-hmm.
and through and through. It's kind of the way that I view the world is often through the mathematical lens.
Mm-hmm.
The argument that I make, not to get too much into the nuances of poker, is that there's a kind of delusion that's spread around the poker world that obsesses around the game theory optimal approach of poker. That
Okay.
they teach new students how to learn poker through the game theoretical approach, and it quashes and quells creativity, and it doesn't teach people how to think. It teaches people what to think. And my argument in the poker world is that people put way too much emphasis on this game theory optimal style of thinking, and that there are actual multiple different ways that you can play poker very successfully, and I've shown that by winning a fuck ton of money in the highest stakes that I could find.
Gotcha. Okay.
No,
All right.
yeah, whoever's saying that, much love to them. They just don't understand poker.
Tell them to fuck off. Gotcha. Okay. The only reason why I wondered that more was because earlier you mentioned something about intuitions guiding you for poker, and I wondered when you said that if you're one of those people like, oh no, fuck the math, don't worry about that. But then my challenge was going to be that like maybe it might be that you're lucky and that you just happen to have really good intuitions that line up with math. But there are a lot of people that have really bad intuitions, and especially in poker, this is the case, right? You remember every single, 1 outer, 2 outer you hit on the river, but you forget like certain wins, you forget certain losses. Like people have like huge biases in terms of what they remember. This is why gambling like sucks so many people in. They remember their wins more than their losses and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's right. But the way that I see intuition is that it has to be working in duality with intellect. Like I always imagine it as a tree. Like the intellect is the roots and the intuition is the branches. The intuition can reach further than the intellect. It can bring back knowledge that perhaps the intellect can't quite fathom. It brings back images and poetry and art. It just understands it without being able to articulate it. But if you spend all of your time in the intuition without being able to rationally ground yourself, then you just turn into an airy fairy hippie singing Kumbaya around a circle and telling me that this magic beat is going to make me feel better. If you spend too much time just in the rational and you don't spend time cultivating the intuition, you become too narrow-minded. You don't find the external data. You only look in a very, very small sphere of the world. So I believe that to be successful at poker, and the way that I'm successful at poker and the way that I teach my students, is that you need to cultivate your intuition through meditation, through eating healthy, through whatever data sets you can accumulate over time. And then you also have to cultivate the rational side of poker, and you have to learn the theory.
Okay, I don't think so. I don't think I disagree with that at all. My background is more in music, and some people will argue like, "Oh, music theory is a waste of time. It stifles your creativity." But the proper response is always that like these two tools are complementary of one another. Theoretical understandings can explain what you can intuitively feel, and then maybe you can intuitively build on those data explanations, but they kind of go hand in hand, and one without the other is kind of wasted. And people that get too dug into one and demonize the other are usually missing the bigger picture, kind of.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
If you're enjoying the way that I'm speaking about poker, teaching poker, I do have a website, charliecarrel.com. Link is in the description below. You'll find on there a mindset masterclass, which I think is the most important, teaching you how to deal with tilt, anxieties, ambition, things like that. You'll find a poker masterclass completely teaching you how to restructure the way that you think about poker. And you'll find the complete archive of the bankroll challenge.